In this video, we're going to talk about making a splash guard for your mixer.
Mike from MikeandMolly'sHouse.com has a circular disc that he straps on. And Darren Martin from MakingPapercrete.com has a more elaborate donut hole with a center plug sort of thing that's pretty cool. When I first started out, I just used a painter's tarp that I tied around the top because I had those cool ridges on it, and that worked pretty well for the first 4 or 5 loads. Until one day in the middle of the 5th or 6th load, when I got to the end of the street, it was just gone. It had disappeared, and I couldn't find it anywhere. That is, until I got to the bottom of the Papercrete. Apparently, 10,000 little gobs of wet paper pulp weighted it down enough that it got sucked in and chewed up. Not muy bueno.
So as they say in the Princess Bride movie, I went back to the beginning, and I started watching some of Mike McCain's old videos. Mike's solution was simple and elegant as always. He bolted a tire to the top of his metal container.
So I went down to my local tire dealership and spoke to the owner, who agreed to let me through whatever I wanted around back.
It took a little while, but eventually I found the perfect tire. A quick trip to the local power tool rental shop, and I was in business with the Sawzall. I figured we'd be done in 10 minutes. I rented the Sawzall because I didn't need the whole tire, just the top 4.5, 5 inches. As it turned out, this was a steel belted tire, so more than 80 minutes and 3 completely hammered and worn out blades later, I finally got the top off.
The next step was to remove the top ring of the corrugated container, which required an initial cutting all the way around with the Sawzall and a follow-up to smooth it up with a razor. The second pass with the razor allowed me to get a clean, smooth surface from the second ridge all the way to the edge. After that, the only thing that remained was to trim the top to match the same 4 to 5 inches of the piece we had cut off the tire.
In the end, it was a near perfect fit, one that I think Mr. McCain would approve of. For those of you who may be wondering, no, you don't need to waste 80 minutes of your life breathing burnt rubber, but you do need some sort of a splash guard.
Mike's design really does make a giant food processor, which means that even if you're just going down to the end of the block and back, there's going to be a bazillion little tiny pieces of wet paper pulp that get thrown around. And as cool as that is for making high quality Papercrete, your neighbors aren't going to be real wild about having a trail of paper pulp down the street, especially when they dry out and start blowing away. One other note is about getting the mix out of the mixer. Martin Adams has a spiffy little downspout that allows him to pour into his gang molds. But my mini mixer is small enough, it's just easier to reach over the side and hoist it out in 5-gallon buckets. It only takes about 15 minutes to empty the mixer, which is roughly the equivalent of your morning gym exercise. In the next video, I'll discuss the mix, how we get the proper mix. And as always, we got to give a little shout out to the pioneers of this wonderful building material.